in his sights. And he's going to do it. Whoa! A big chunk. A big chunk off the mark.
WCSN brings you another defining moment from the championship corners.
We're in sudden death. We've pushed it to the limit here. And he misses for the second time in a row. And Kessel misses for the second time here. Jere Lehtinen. And he scores! Lehtinen wins it for the Finns in the shootout. And they advance to the semifinals to take on Russia.
WCSN.com, your destination for World Championship sports. Live events.
This is an amazing sport.
Highlights.
Carson Felix takes it from Sanya Richards and Veronica Campbell.
Photo galleries. Sports you live and love. WCSN.com.
Kick. Verb. To thrust out the foot or feet with force. Noun. A feeling of pleasure or marked enjoyment. A thrill. Kick. Also known as a burst of speed at the end of a race.
Open your mind. They're neck and neck now. And to the finish line. All right, he's done it.
We are back live from Stuttgart, Germany, the 40th Artistic Gymnastics World Championships. I'm Bart Connor, along with Raj Bhavsar, winner of 2 silver medals at the World Championships in both 2001 and 2003. Raj, we're getting set now as the 2 favorites in the team competition, Japan and China, take to the pommel horse. This is Yosuke Hoshi, the 21-year-old from Chiba, Japan.
And the Japanese usually have a solid pommel horse team. What they really need to focus on is just hitting routines and staying clean. We're 4th on this event in the qualifying session. Pretty good routine here so far. This is the scissor sequence.
It's kind of clever.
Yeah, a little unique. And a very cleanly executed routine.
Now, as an athlete, you have to really juggle the idea that you're going to go for the hardest routine, but the one that you can also do cleanly with good execution. How do you, under these new rules, build that routine that's best for you?
You know, and that's been a strategy for most of the gymnasts now. In the past, we didn't have to worry about that with the 10-0 cap on every routine. Your main goal was to reach that 10-0, and once you reached the 10-0, you worked on perfecting the routine. Now, got 2 different options. You can shave out some difficulty and just focus on execution, or you can go for the big tricks.
Jonathan Horton for the United States, the 21-year-old, competes for the University of Oklahoma. Mark Williams and Rustam Sharipov, his coaches there.
Very good on these Maltese positions.
The U.S. team is quite a strong rings team.
They are, and that's good to see. After a little bit of a falling out on this event for the past couple of years at World Championships, this U.S. team has really brought themselves back to the forefront.
Horton is the highest ranking all-arounder in this group, but then there's Sean Golden and Kevin Tan, who are spectacular 4 and 5 event guys.
Ring specialists at
really
that.
Nice exercise for Horton. We'll see a lot of him throughout these championships. He'll be in the all-around final for the United States.
And he's a great leadoff guy for an event like rings. He's setting up his 2 other teammates for really good routines. It's always nice to see that first guy set the tone for the rest of the team on each event.
He was a part of last year's World Championship team effort. Did not have a particularly good meet at the Worlds in Aarhus, and so I think I see some renewed intensity on this team. Don't you, Raj? There seems to be a level of confidence that we didn't see last year.
There is, and I was speaking with Kevin Majaika earlier, head coach of the U.S. men's team, and he was telling me that this team gels well together and has a lot of fire in them. Probably feeling a little bit of the weight of redemption from last year's Worlds. And
after the U.S. team won the silver medal in the 2004 Olympic Games, 2005 World Championships, they did not contest team awards. And then, as you see the score for Hoshi, 15.075 for Japan on the pommel horse. So the U.S. team dropped all the way to 13th place in the team competition last year at the Worlds, and so that was in many respects a wake-up call that encouraged guys like you, Raj Bhavsar, to come back out of retirement, and Paul and Morgan Hamm, and even Blaine Wilson. So there are a lot of stars in the mix as we look ahead to the Olympics in Beijing next year. Mizutori will be next for Japan on the pommel horse.
That element is called a full care. She did in the beginning. These are the travels across the horse I spoke about. The judges are looking for the amount of skewness. There's that flop sequence.
Skewness, is that a word?
Skewness. That's what everyone seems to call it.
When they travel down the length of the horse, they want to be completely square to the body of the horse as opposed to being skewed, right?
Exactly.
Pretty clean. Scored only a 14.55 on pommel horse in the qualifying rounds, but a 14.55 on horse these days is a pretty good score.
That's a pretty decent score. One thing I'm noticing here is that a lot of gymnasts are not fulfilling the full requirement on their dismounts. You're required to dismount with at least a D dismount, and I'm sure nerves and fatigue goes into this a little bit, but you'll see maybe here on the dismount that he just goes up to the handstand, and usually you're supposed to do some sort of pirouetting travel down the horse to fulfill that D, and he just hops right down. That's only a C, and that's going to cost him a few tenths in the category requirement.
It's a good point. In fact, you do things a little bit differently in the team final because it's 3 up, 3 count. It's kind of controversial because you want to do the best routine you can, but also you want to do a safe routine.
Right.
15.15 the score for Jonathan Horton for the U.S. on the rings. Horton had a 15.325 in the qualifying round. So the scores seem to be just a little tighter today, which I think is good as long as they're all relative.
I think that's normal because all the teams are in one arena at the same time for the judge to judge versus 8 different subdivisions in the prelims.
Sean Golden out of Camden, New Jersey, training with you down there.
Watch this, Bart. This is just superhuman. That right there.
That's just nuts.
That's called a bounce Maltese. And then he pushes back out into a planche there for some connection bonus. And
anytime you do strength moves that go in an ascending phase like that from across up to a Maltese, you have the chance to get connection bonus. That's a lot of stuff in that routine. She's your training partner down there in Houston.
That's right. I've worked tirelessly with him on this dismount coming up here. We'll see what the U.S. team decide to do, either the D or C dismount. And it's just a double layout, which is a C. Like I said, requirement for all teams on all events is to dismount with a D or better. So he will incur a small deduction for that.
But a good score.
Good score.
For Sean Golden. Probably a smart move in the pressure-packed team final to not take an unnecessary risk. 15.125 for Mizutori.
Well, that's a good score on
pommel horse. Absolutely. In fact, 0.7 of a point higher than his qualifying score. So Japan looking very good here. Hiroyuki Tomita,
finalist on this event. Another gymnast to watch. His lines and toe point, they're just exquisite.
2005 World All-Around Champion. He was the silver medalist to Yang Wei from China last year at the Worlds.
He just looks like he's in so much control with everything he does.
There is a sense of calm when you watch him perform.
Absolutely. I really like it. He's got an artistic value to his gymnastics.
Some gymnasts, you have the sense that at any minute they're going to fall.
Exactly.
In his case, even on the high bar, when he does risky release moves, you somehow feel like he's going to be okay. I don't know what it is about him.
Makes it look easy, that's for sure. And that's that D dismount that I was mentioning, so he fulfilled that requirement. And that's an excellent set.
The 2003 World Championships where you competed, Raj, he was second in the all-around to American Paul Hamm. The Olympics, he was sixth in the all-around in 2004.
And he's a great gymnast. He, when the dust settles, he's usually near the top, and I definitely think he's going to be one of the medal contenders for the all-around competition.
It's so hard to be a great all-around gymnast in this day and age because the type of gymnast that's good on the floor and the horse and the vault and the rings is very different. The body style is different. Their strengths and weaknesses are different.
Absolutely.
So to be a balanced gymnast under the current code of points is really just flat out remarkable.
It is. It is. My hat's off to him.
Kevin Tan, this could be a highlight for the United States on rings.
And this is definitely his best event. The positions there. That's the Maltese push to invert.
Planning a 7.3 start value on this routine based on his difficulty if he can put it all together.
That's called the Nazarian to L cross, and he pulls out of that so easily. It's like he's swinging P-bars.
Oh, after all that,
wow.
From a cross pull to Maltese.
Notice a little bit of swing he's picked up. Judges might notice that. And, oh, good routine. A little bit of pike down on the dismount. What the judges want to see on these dismounts is that you're in total control and you can actually kick out and show some flair rather than piking down the landings.
Japan having a very good day on the pommel horse, 15.5 for Tomita, higher than his qualifying round. And Kevin Tan was strong for the United States on the rings. In fact, some gymnastics fans might remember last year he had food poisoning at the World Championships and could not get through that difficult strength sequence on the rings. Basically just ran out of gas. And so looking a lot fresher and cleaner
Absolutely.
this year. Chinese team will set up the pommels and get them ready for what could be a dazzling display on the pommel horse. Kevin Tan, solid positions throughout on this ring routine. 15.825. Nice score. He had a 16.05. Slightly better in the qualifying round, but in general, it looks like all the scores are just a notch lower, which I think is good. It
That's
helps
right.
provide some separation.
Absolutely. You know, you want to separate the best from the best. That element there is a pike bell. Ooh, pike morrisue, we call that. And P-bars is one of these events where training day in and day out, elements like that where you catch on your upper arm, shoulders, triceps, and biceps, and elbows can really take a beating.
Yu Wong Chul
does another one.
He's just beating himself up, isn't he? The Korean team on the parallel bars. This is the first performance of parallel bars we've seen today. Basically, there are 4 events going simultaneously, and the top teams in the world get the benefit of competing in Olympic order. Yu Won Chul 15.75. So
it's a good score, and actually the Koreans are very good on parallel bars.
Lots of difficulty. Here are the standings at the halfway point of the second rotation. Korea in the lead, Romania, Japan, United States in 4th. Don't go away.
WCSN brings you another defining moment from the championship corner.
And here is the guy, the native of St. Anton, 27-year-old Mario Mat. The gold medal winner at the World Championships only has to preserve a lead of half a second here, and he will win his first World Cup slalom of the season. Last World Cup slalom, he was third in Schladming. After a pair of second place finishes in Kitzbühel, and he has the lead at the split by a half second. Virtually the same margin he led by after the first run. Mario Matz winding his way to the finish line. The Austrian wins his first World Cup slalom this season by 0.4 of a second here in Garmisch-Partenkirchen.
Ever since the dawn of man, or shortly thereafter, men have claimed Monday night. Not anymore. It's Ladies' Night on WCSN, a Monday night tradition. Whether it's the women of downhill or the grace of gymnastics, Ladies' Night boasts the 2-for-1 special. Women in sports and the sports women love. So if you're the type of woman who'd rather cycle than shop, grab the remote, because now Monday nights are for the ladies too. Ladies' Night every Monday night on WCSN.
And they're away at the men's 4x400 meter relay. So the U.S. still well back. It's a big gap to make up. The United States would not win the title unless Darrell Williamson has some unbelievable sprint left in him down this final finishing stretch, which is not out of the question. Williamson lifting beautifully. Can he pass and win the title? Yes! The U.S. men win the title.
Let's get ready to take flight.
Pure poetry.
Wow. What a performance there. Well, they've got it. That is the stadium record. It's gone. 1 lap to go. Number 1.
The new world record for the Americans. Oh, no! Look at that.
We are back at the 2007 Artistic Gymnastics World Championships. Huang Shu from China on the pommel horse now. We could be in for a treat.
Yep.
China is spectacular everywhere, but
Definitely on the pommel horse.
Wow.
He looks a little bit rough on some of these sequences, but altogether I'm sure it's packed with difficulty.
28-year-old from Beijing is the oldest member of the Chinese team, two-time Olympian. Chinese won their first Olympic team title in 2000 in Sydney, Australia, but had a very disappointing performance in 2004, placing only 5th when they were expected to win in Athens, Greece.
And that's a nice set by Huang Shu. Notice he swings a little bit faster than everybody else. Every gymnast has their own style.
You kind of rip around that pommel horse, if I remember correctly.
I've been known to almost take off sometime with a helicopter.
Philippe Boy from Germany had a terrific competition in the qualifying round. The 10th highest all-arounder.
That was a Pineda to L cross. Pulled to a Maltese.
You mentioned Pineda, Tony Pineda from Mexico, one of the great gymnasts who competed for UCLA many years ago. If you are the first to do a skill in major international competition, it can be named after you. So those moves are called Yamawakis. There's a Bobzar on the rings.
Derived from a Pineda type element.
Right. So you stole that move from him? Is that right?
Worked from it.
Okay. Actually, if we called out every name of every skill, it would be, Honma,
Oh, yeah.
Yamawaki, O'Neill, Gusogi.
Oh.
Pike double front with a half dismount. That's a tough dismount to do.
It is, and some gymnasts are opting to go that route in this code because of the D requirement. Some don't exactly have the technical know-how to do the back twisting elements, so they figure the pike and tuck forward elements are an easier route for them.
Philippe Boy tends to excel on the swing type events. Ring's not his strongest. Huang Shu, a 15.275.
And that's a good score for China.
Is very good. About a tenth of a point less than what he scored in the qualifying round.
And they have their two best coming up.
Oh, and boy, can these guys do it.
Yes.
Yang Wei, who is maybe the most balanced gymnast in the world. Hard to find a weakness anywhere with the current world all-around champion and leader of this team.
Full spindle element there. He is a finalist on this event. Scissor sequence. Judges are looking for leg separation and height above the pommels on those. Chinese make the swing look so effortless. It's one thing we in the gymnastics community always notice about their gymnastics. Solid set.
Which is typical of Yang Wei. Not necessarily over-the-top spectacular like Sasha Artemev, but a reliable performer on the pommel horse for sure.
Very
you can
much.
see why he's the winner of 10 world and Olympic medals. Was the all-around runner-up at the 2000 Olympics.
And you can see it in his eyes, Bart. He wants that Olympic gold next year.
All eyes will be on China at home. The best team in the world hosting the Olympics. I think most other countries are thinking, well, we'd be happy with a silver or bronze.
A race for silver. Let's just get a medal. But then again, anything can happen. And these guys know that.
I think, this 3-up, 3-count format is very interesting along those lines because on paper you can be the best team in the world, but look what we saw yesterday in the women's team competition. Kramarenko from Russia made an error in judgment, touched the springboard and the vaulting horse.
That's right.
She should have known better. I blame her coaches for not informing her of the rules that if you touch the springboard or the vaulting horse and do not perform a vault, you get a 0. And, of course, the 0 dropped Russia out of the bronze medal on the podium to last place. A devastating finish. And so anything can happen. A botched vault, a broken handguard, an injured athlete during a performance. We saw with the Chinese team back at the World Championships in 2001, a torn bicep in the first rotation for one of the Chinese performers. He had to jump off the rings, and that basically bagged their effort.
That's right.
I think they have to have some kind of modification to the rules in that consideration because what if you have a serious injury like a torn bicep here, you have to jump down. That's just unfortunate.
That's right.
And it's devastating for the team. Wouldn't it be better if you could have a gymnast warmed up and waiting in the wings in case something like that happens, that you could place a guy up there and at least get a score instead of having to take something somewhere between a 0 and 5?
You know, I agree with you because you want to give the opportunity to these athletes and teams to at least be competitive. God forbid something outside of the gymnastics realm happens, hand guard, injury. It'd be nice to have that little cushion.
15.525 for Yang Wei. Slightly higher than his score by 5/100ths of a point in the qualifying round. So China, as can be predicted.
Oh, now watch this set bar. This is a treat. This should be packaged up as an instructional DVD on pommel horse. Look at his swing.
First of all, look at his body line. He's about 112 pounds. He's so high above the horse.
Look at that amplitude above the pommels.
I've never seen
Swings like a
someone
board.
swing so straight. Oh,
wow,
my.
Look at him just cooking through this. It's just great to see, even as a current athlete, that the human body can perform at this kind of level.
You know, there's no question that Xiao Qin, the 22-year-old from Beijing, all the other gymnasts in the gym, regardless of how competitive you are, you have to acknowledge, okay, he's just like...
He's a class above everybody else.
And I like that about the gymnastics community, because you as a competitor, just say hats off, buddy. You're just the best.
Much respect.
Because you know how hard it is. That's the point.
I absolutely.
Every other gymnast in the building says that's just nuts. How do you do that?
And
perfect form.
To the average fan, he just made that look incredibly easy.
Right. Robert Juckel from Germany, 14.925. I'm sure we'll expect a big score for Xiao Qin, the two-time world champion, as we look at Thomas Andergassen, set to go for Germany on the rings. He's their final performer there. We saw Philippe Boy, the score for Robert Juckel. Andergassen, the 27-year-old. Last year, Germany was 7th in the team competition at the 2006 Worlds.
A little short on that Maltese position and
too high.
A little high on that invert. Shoulders are above the rings.
Basically, in terms of angles, give us the perspective and exactly what the judges are looking for on those cross positions and inverts.
Well, up to 15 degrees is no deduction, so they allow slight variation.
Up to 15 degrees off of the complete horizontal.
Horizontal of the rings, right.
Sometimes it's deceiving because some guys have hyperextended elbows and it's hard to exactly...
And it's also deceiving because the rings are on a podium and the judges are sitting so low, so the angle of vision can actually throw off your score.
It is interesting because the judges actually see them appear to be lower into the rings than you and I see them from the television angles.
That's right.
This is a little high for instance.
So a high Maltese could look flat in their eyes.
Right.
And then anything above 15 degrees begins your deductions from 1/10 to 3/10. 5/10 being unrecognizable.
Okay, expect a big score here, 16.225. Wow. That's just out of this world.
For pommel horse especially.
Yeah, when on pommel horse a 14.5 is considered a very good score. 16.225 for China. They are starting to pour it on. To the vault. Maxim Deviatovsky from Russia. Oh, no. And what a disappointing competition for Russia in the opening qualifying round. Two major injuries to Nikolai Kryukov.
And this vault is a blind landing, so the ground kind of surprises you almost every time you do it. Looked like he had great control. Not sure if he needed to put his hand down. Maybe could have opted with a large step, but there's such little time to think. Your body just reacts.
The Russian team is beat up. Anton Golatsukov was the other performer who broke his foot during the qualifying round. There's been lots of injuries at these World Championships, and I'm not sure if it's a manifestation of the high level of difficulty being required as we look at Rafael Martinez of Spain on parallel bars.
Definitely is a correlation there, Bart.
We could go through the list of top gymnasts. In the past, maybe several of the, let's say, marginal gymnasts have been injured, but in this case, several of the best in the world are dealing with injuries, including Kyle Schufelt, fractured both legs here, warming up training sessions. He's the Olympic champion on the floor. Kashima from Japan, the Ukrainians, Justin Spring from the United States, and your teammate Sean Townsend from the United States, struggling with a bicep inflammation. So injury is certainly one element of the storyline here in Stuttgart. More World Gymnastics coming up.
The course is set. Destination, the Four Corners, where background, stats, and stories are mapped out each week. Race and track. Over and in the water. On the snow for winter sports. And on and off the floor. Meet the athletes, get the stories, and see the action as WCSN takes you inside the sport, inside the corner. The Four Corners, where only the best need apply.
WCSN.com brings you the countdown to Beijing.
What a performance there. It's going to be too close to call.
And she does it.
Watch World Championships.
Unbelievable stuff here at the World Championships.
Be a part of every world record.
The new world record for the Americans.
Watch your favorite champions win medals daily. Only at WCSN.com. WCSN brings you another defining moment from the championship corners.
And the champion is doing it again. As easy as you like. Good battle for second and third and fourth. But it is Phelps, lofty second, moving through Marin in third place ahead of Maluli. Well under world record pace at the 350. He's going to do it again. Superman on his way home. Michael Phelps in the 400 individual medley. He has slaughtered the world record line here. Phelps, a smooth, rhythmical stroke. The Baltimore Bullet does it again. It's number 7. And a world record. Phelps, the magician. Superman does it again.
Ever since the dawn of man, or shortly thereafter, men have claimed Monday night. Not anymore. It's Ladies' Night on WCSN, a Monday night tradition. Whether it's the women of downhill or the grace of gymnastics, Ladies' Night boasts the 2-for-1 special. Women in sports and the sports women love. So if you're the type of woman who'd rather cycle than shop, grab the remote, because now Monday nights are for the ladies too. Ladies' Night every Monday night on WCSN. WCSN brings you another defining moment from the championship corner.
Reich, a multiple winner here in Schladming. Here comes the split. And Reich's in front. Now the real work begins. Listen to this crowd. Almost 50,000. Benny and Ike. He's got it. First place.
Welcome back to Stuttgart, Germany, the World Gymnastics Championships. Thomas Andergassen, 15.025 for Germany. They have gotten off to a respectable start, but they are on two of the lower scoring events typically for them, the pommel horse and the rings. And Germany in 8th place in the team competition. Right now, Korea the leader, Romania in second, China, Russia, Spain, Japan, the United States, and Germany in 8th place. We will be back with rotation 3 from Stuttgart in a moment. Don't go away, folks.
Here comes Glago on the outside. And it's a knockdown, drag-out fight between best friends for World Championship title. An unbelievable development, and there goes Glago, pass ankle. It's absolute mayhem in the stadium as two Germans sprinted out for the World Championship victory. It will be Andrea Henkel, world champion for Germany, ahead of her teammate Martina Glago. Henkel gold, Glago silver, Wilhelm the bronze.
That is a new American record. And they are off, lifting nicely here at the end. She does still have a shot.
Here comes the sprint. And here they come side by side. Italy will win the World Championship.
All bets are off when Saturday Night at the Track takes the air on WCSN. See the world's best displaying the speed, skill, and focus necessary to win a world title. Whether it's on the pavement, at the track, or on the dirt, the finish line is all that matters. So forget win and place. The only show you need is Saturday Night at the Track. WCSN.com brings you a winter wonderland.
Let's get ready to take flight.
Pure poetry.
Watch World Championships.
Oh, good God!
Be a part of every world record.
This guy is capable of going really far at any time.
Watch your favorite champions win medals daily. Only at WCSN.com.
Bart Connor and Raj Bhavsar back live. Action from Stuttgart, Germany, the men's team final of the World Gymnastics Championships. Day 2 of 5 days of incredible live coverage here only on WCSN. Robert Juckel of Germany to the vault now. Now, Germany was in 8th place in the team competition coming into this rotation, but with vault being one of the higher scoring events, expect them to work their way back up into contention for a medal after this rotation. Nice handspring double front.
Well, that was a nice vault. Judges are looking for the pre-flight elements, which is the moment on approach to the vaulting table here when he hits the board to the horse, how clean the gymnast is, and notice his flipping position. His knees are relatively close together and only a small deduction. So
every vault has a start value associated with it. That one is a 6.6. So as you say, theoretically, he could get as much as a 16.6 because that's added to a maximum value of 10.0 in terms of execution. So scores will be considerably higher for the vault. Huang Shu now to the rings for China.
And here's another event where the Chinese seem to set themselves apart from the rest of the field. They're just very strong. Position's a little high there. But the gymnast is given that 15-degree margin. He's still going. The strength. And those types of elements really put strain on your shoulders.
We've mentioned the injuries. Last year he did not compete at the World Championships because of a chest injury.
And that's a relatively good set, lead-off set for China on rings. China's ranked 1st on rings coming into this competition. And you'll see why, these next two guys.
15.975. Good score for Robert Juckel. Eugene Spiridonov. He was Evgeny Spiridonov when he was living in Russia, but changed his name when he moved to Germany. He emigrated in 2001 and became a member of their national team.
That's a Kazamatsu type vault. A round off entry, and he does 2.5 twists in the post flight. So we